Hi, I'm Sherry McGill, and you're watching Lessons Learned. Hi there, welcome back to Finish It Friday. Thanks for coming by to see what we've finished this week, what I've finished, and what some of you have finished or at a finishing spot on. So we know that we get in different stages of our projects, these stopping places, whether it be, oh, I made this block of 25, I'm done with this block, or I'm done with this quilt top, or I've quilted my quilt and bound it and it is done. So there's different ways to interpret a finished project, and they all apply here. So I just wanted to share some things that I have. I did get my block done for my very last number 12, week 12 block done for the Vintage Mystery here, the house. And I hope you're having fun with that, putting yours together. And I just wanted to share with you that I did end up putting a 1-inch sash here and here on the quilt. I didn't do anything on the outside yet. I'm still trying to decide if I want to go a little wider on the outside. I have about a 3-inch here that I think would be the best for finishing it off all the way around, and then either put my border on or just a binding. I haven't decided yet, but I think it does need to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to go with this width here out of this muslin, and I think that'll finish the quilt out nicely. And sorry you can't see the whole entire thing. There's another row down here. So 5 blocks by 5 blocks with our 12 Vintage Mystery blocks and our 13 9 patches. So feels so good to get this project mostly done. So I'm excited about it and can't wait to put my borders on and continue on with it. I also made a table runner, and I think I showed this to you on Monday before I got it quilted. Yeah, I just wanted some sort of little project in between just to kind of refresh my quilty mind. And I used this pattern called Mansfield from Tabletastic 3 by Doug Lico. And yeah, it was really easy, went together quickly. And I use these dark fabrics, and it might be hard to see actually where the squares and rectangles start and end, but the design is there. They used a much lighter fabric on theirs, but I've been staring at this over in my stash, and I'm like, I need to make something with that. I really like that. It's called Nocturnal by Moda. I can't remember the designer, sorry. And then the back also has the same line, but in a different colorway. And I put 2 long bars on the end, so that could be turned that way as well. And I did some quilting on it. You can see it a little better on the back here. Just some kind of sideways wavy flames. I did that with my Baby Lock Jazz 2. And it turned out real nice. So that was a nice little project to throw in the mix there. And what else have I done? I did this block. You may have seen it on Instagram. I showed it on there. This is the November Barton Block Mini. So doesn't look too much like November colors, but the fabric is Tilda, and it's called Windy Days. So I thought that was kind of appropriate for this time of year, but I kind of jazzed it up a little bit with some bright pink. And this isn't complete yet. I still need to do the basting in the back and all of that. So I'm counting it as a Finish It Friday just because I got the front done, but I'll finish this probably today. I'm not sure what I should do. If I should do a bright pink border around that, or one of the other ones on there. We'll see what I do. And then let's see. Let me move the camera for a second so you can see Hometown Charms. Okay, there's Hometown Charms. Here's the bottom of it. So our last block was this one. I think you can see that. And that is representing hometown charities, or I forget the actual category, but it was like, had to do with giving to others, or, you know, charities or whatever kind of thing your town might have going on. The only thing I could relate to on that is when I worked in banking. I was in marketing for a while, so I had to do quite a few things that had to do with marketing the bank, and they wanted me to pick some sort of a charity to support, and I chose the March of Dimes Walkathon, which is for health for the unborn. You know, they're the ones that kind of pioneered using folic acid to avoid spina bifida and things of that sort. I don't have any personal tie to that particular ailment that babies have, but they collect money for all sorts of different infant diseases and things like that, and prenatal care, things like that. So I would usually head that up for the bank, and we would have a big old group of us that would walk the walkathon. It used to be 15 miles. I don't think it's that long now, but we did. We would walk 15 miles. So I did that for a few years. And so there's that, and it's all put together. I don't have any borders on it yet. Pat Sloan came out with a shorts this morning, a short video this morning where she was working on hers, and she had a solid border around hers and then a floral border beyond that, a wider one. So I think I'll probably do the same. I just have to figure out what fabric I want to use for it. But it feels good to get these two quilt tops done. Feeling really good. Okay, let me see what you guys have done this week. I've gotten a few nice things in. The first one is from Dolly, and she has made a little mini quilt here. And if you look at that, you see that the horse is cut off, and there's part of a barn in there, and then there's some tiny half square triangles in there. So she was using scraps, and I think it looks great. I really do. It's just very organic looking, and I love the quilting that you did around the landscape there. It's really classy. I like it. And then I wanted to see what she said about this. She says, this to me looks like a calendar now, doesn't it? The half square triangles finished at 1 inch. Tiny. It was made from the leftover cut-offs and pieces from making a quilt about horses. Yes, the poor horse's head is missing, but the reminder of the project that I enjoyed making and sending off is still there for me. And after all, who's going to see it in here in the privacy of my sewing room? I mean, except for thousands of viewers who love to tune in to Finish It Friday. But that's a cute little project. It's a little mini quilt. I would guess it finishes about, just by the size of those half square triangles, it's about like a 12 by 16 or something like that. But it's a cute little addition to your sewing room, and a nice reminder of the project that you gifted. So that's really cool. Thanks for sending that, Dolly. And then Pam sent us something. She's working on the Vintage Mystery quilt blocks. She's just getting started on them, but she decided to work on the heart, and she decided to make hers in a 4-patch type of heart. Instead of the one big one that I did. So she kind of shrunk it down and was able to use some of the other patterns from the Vintage Mystery blocks to figure out the math. So that's another pretty cool thing about those PDFs of those other blocks is you can, you know, use those to kind of cheat with to get the measurements on stuff and try to, you know, figure out dimension as far as what size you want to make. So she has her 9 patch ready there too. And I love these light blues and medium blues and the birds that you're using on like that fabric. Really love it. Okay, Pat Freeman also sent me a beautiful quilt. This is an autumn colored quilt. And she says, my quilt buddy and I did a little sew along where we agreed on a quilt design and each did our version. Mine's autumn colors quilted by Orchid Owl, local long armors. It was challenging enough to make us stretch our skills, but was still fun. So I love your autumn colors, and the design is really it really accents that particular design, the autumn colors that you used. And this finished out, she said, at 60 by 80. And she got it professionally long-armed, and it looks great. And then another one was sent to me by Penny. And she has an interesting story behind what she has sent this week. And I know Penny personally from the retreat, and we had a conversation about this particular project she's talking about. That she sent us a picture of here, and you see it there. It's in Bookish is the name of the fabric line. I'm pretty sure that's Moda, I believe she says in here. But she has a little story about herself doing this quilt, and also her husband is involved. So take a listen. It says it says, I was making a quilt using a layer cake I bought on one of our shopping days at the retreat. And the snowballed corners were supposed to be on the outside corners to make it look kind of like a flower. But I sewed them with all the snowballed corners to the inside, which she didn't mean to. That's just what happened. I couldn't do much about it because there are some directional prints in there, and I'm just not one to have directional fabrics all turned about in every direction. I also didn't like the light fabric I chose for the snowballed corners. I chose it because I thought white would be too bright, but the beige ended up being boring. So I dressed it up with the dark brown fabric in a smaller size, but then that's all I could see. The dark brown stuck out like headlights at night on the highway. In the end, I cautiously continued to work ideas out, auditioning options to tie it together and balance it out, and in the end, I created something all my own. For a super simple pattern, it ended up being a lot of work because I didn't know where I was going with it. So she listed off her lessons learned on this. She says, first of all, follow the pattern. Otherwise, you can take a wrong turn and not know how to get out of it. Number 2, when happy little accidents occur, take a deep breath, look at what you have, and put a think on to see if there's anything else you can make of it. I think you can more often than not, she says. And number 3, this quilt top took me on a journey, and sometimes you end up building the plane while you're flying it, and that's okay too. Have you ever had that happen with a pattern? You just simply turned it the wrong way, and then ended up sewing it all together that way, but it didn't look bad? Who has to know, right? Okay, so as for her husband, she says she gave him the extra half-square triangles from the beige snowballed corners, handed him the pile, turned on the sewing machine, and let him go to town. He laid out his own design and feels pretty good about himself, I can tell you. He has some lessons learned as well. Number 1, patchwork is a lot harder than one would think. And number 2, he has a newfound respect for what we do over the sheer number of honed skills it requires to make something that, in his words, lies flat. All right. So here's a little picture of his block that he made. It's a 6 by 6. That would be a 36 square block, right? 36 patch. We'll call it a 36 patch. And see how he lined up the prints to make those stripes? pretty cool. I think he did pretty good. Yep, he did. Not going to probably, from what she said, turn him into a full-time quilter or anything, but he has a newfound respect for Penny's, his wife's hobby, and what it takes to do it. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that, Penny. I really appreciate you sending that to us today. And I believe that's it for the pictures that you turned in. Thank you for abiding by my guidelines in the description box each week on these. If you ever want to send a photo in, read those over first, and then feel free to send me an email with your photo attached to lessonslearnt2021@gmail.com. We always love to see everybody's work. All right, and I just wanted to mention next week there's no vintage mystery. We're finished with that, and you can finish your quilt however you like as far as borders and sashing. And we'll be having a introduction to December next Wednesday. I'm going to make a video, and it'll be an informative video about what can we do in December to get ourselves ready for the new year as far as our projects, our quilting space, maybe even a little bit about our finances. I don't know. We'll see what we can throw in there. But I'll have something ready for you next Wednesday that we'll talk about on that. And then also towards the end of December, I'm going to go through this planner, the Quilt Art Engagement Planner 2023. You can get this through American Quilter Society. It's $15.95, but I think if you go ahead and sign up as a member, an annual membership, you'll get it for less. I can't remember. I think it was $12.95. Anyway, worth it for $15.95 either way, and anybody can go on their site and order it. It is AmericanQuilter.com. So I'm gonna use this. If you have a different sort of planner you want to use, that's fine too. But we're gonna have a planning session towards the end of December for at least the first 3 months of 2023. So go ahead and pick this up, or get yourself one somewhere or online. There's plenty out there. I think Lori Holt has one as well, and we'll get some things written down in here so we can keep ourselves straight next year and have tons of fun quilting. All right, thanks for stopping by today and seeing our projects, and we will see you on Monday for Monday Quilt Chat. In the meantime, this weekend, find a little time to sew because it's good for you. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.